And I think it was important to say to women, thou art loose. But I want to say something to my sisters, and I want you to understand me well. The enemy does want to bind you. He does want to bind you. But I want to tell you something, sisters. The enemy really isn't after you. He really isn't after you. He wants to bind you. But he doesn't have to worry about killing you. You remember when David came down to Ziklag and the women were taken into captivity and the men had to go get the women and get them out. When he brought those women out of captivity, encouraged himself in the Lord and saw them transform, they didn't kill the women, they trapped them. And all through the Bible talks about women being trapped, talks about silly women being trapped, because the enemy wants to trap women, but he wants to kill men. So to the woman, we are talking about woman, thou art loose. But when it comes to the man, we are fighting for our lives because the devil wants to kill men. You know why? I want you to understand what's going on, sister. The enemy knows that if he kills your man or your son or your father, he doesn't have to kill you. You'll spend the rest of your life with your heart broken over who fell apart, who didn't love you, who didn't raise you, who didn't turn out like you thought, who wasn't there for you. He'll break your heart with what he does to your son and what happened to your father or what happened to your husband or your boyfriend, and he'll break your back as you carry weight that you were never built to carry because you had no man to stand by your side. And he'll seek to terminate and destroy the life of men because he knows he gets 2 for 1. When he gets a man, he gets you too. That's why in the book, in the Bible, it talks about in the King James Version to destroy everyone that pisses against the wall. It means to destroy everything that stands up when it urinates. The devil is after men. That's why when Moses was born, there was a decree made by Pharaoh to destroy every male child under 2 years old. He didn't wait till they got old. He started out early wanting to kill them lest they become kings and giants and enter into their destiny. Men are on the hit list of hell. That's why when the baby Jesus was born, Joseph had to take him down into Egypt and hide him for 2 years because Satan had a contract out for men and he was willing to kill every male child until he got to that child, because the prophecy in the book of Genesis said that the seed of the woman would rise up and bruise the head of the seed of the serpent. My sister, he's not after you, he's after your seed. Well, what seed does the woman have? The woman's seed is her son. The prophecy is in the male child. He wants to kill your seed, your son, your father, the masculine voice in your house, until it becomes strange to your daughter to hear a man's voice in the house. So she'll be so desperate for the voice of a man or the touch of a man that the only man who ever touched her was the man who was laying on top of her. He's after the male child. That's why male children die of crib death more readily than women. More male stillborns than female. I don't just have to stay in the spirit, we can go in the natural. Our male baby boys die more readily at early ages, contract more diseases than their female counterparts. Hear me good. That's why insurance companies are predisposed to expect the man to die. They expect it so well that when a pastor builds a church, they want a key man policy on him. So if he terminates his life, the bill will still be paid. They expect him to die because he's a man, and that's what men do. They die. They expect it so well that they're advising women to have a plan because you outlive us by 10 to 15 years. We die. That's what we do. We die. We die with our backs bent over and our heads and our hearts broken, stressed out, wounded and hurting, trying to figure out what in the world happened to the dream we had. I'm not saying you're not a great woman. I'm not saying you're not a great wife. I'm not saying you're not a great mother. But it is difficult for a man to play a role in a house that he has never seen acted out in all of his life. And somewhere along the way, every man in this room has wanted to quit. And if he stayed, whether he took out the trash or not, and if he stayed, whether he got his degree or not, and if he stayed, and whether he's everything you want him to be or not, you owe it to him to tip your hat and say, thanks for staying. Because the good man is so hunted by Satan and sickness and diseases and heart attacks and cancers and curses and rejections and perversions that a good man is almost extinct. We have got to fight back. Was a man's life. Because he is a mystery, we always crave not what we got, we crave what we didn't get. So in that craving need, because you were designed to have certain levels of fulfillment through relationship, we are sociological species, there is such an admiration that it leads to promiscuity, it leads to vulnerability, it leads to a lot of things.